Okay, so we are back for another Pride and Grit Spotlight. This is Jen. Thanks for joining me today. Today, I am going to be joined by Monica Fullerton, and she, if you have not already heard of her, is doing some really awesome things for military spouse entrepreneurs. So we're going to have her talk a little bit about what she's up to and how you can kind of get involved and help participate in that a little bit. So, Monica, welcome to Pride and Grit, and welcome to our spotlight today.
Hey Jen, thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. Can you want to take a minute and just kind of give everyone a little bit of a background on yourself and your story?
Yeah, no problem. So I am a Air Force spouse. My husband and I and our 3-year-old twins, we all live out in Las Vegas. We've been out here for about let's over 5.5 years now. So we've been very lucky to be in the same spot. And obviously, we all know with military life, it can be a little bit of a struggle with having to move around so much. So
A little bit.
that part of the reason why Spousely came about. Um, so I've always been an entrepreneur and I've always wanted to be able to build a company that would truly be able to help others. And obviously, throughout our military career, we've met so many amazing individuals and just so much talent in the military and veteran world alone. So the wheels kind of started turning, and I was like, how can I create something where we can all come together in a really awesome way and be able to support one another, but also have civilians support mill and vet owned businesses. So obviously, we know there's a lot of different companies out there and a lot of other platforms that kind of do something similar where we can support mill and vet owned businesses. But on Spousely, I wanted to create a really fun and trendy and kind of airy atmosphere for all of us to be on and just kind of display our goods and services.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
there's no shortage of mill spouses that want to support mill spouses for sure. So I think having an
right.
easy place to go and find, I was actually saying to my son last night, he has this idea of this T-shirt he wants to make, and I said, I know this place we could go, and maybe we could find somebody who could make it for you,
Yeah.
because he had just Googled, and found a place and found a T-shirt, and I was like, well, maybe we can try a different way. So I had told him we'd try that. So it was nice because it was, immediately a way that I could easily
Yeah.
make use of that without having to frankly kind of spend the legwork, if you will, to
Right.
find someone who does that I would want to support. So like that was just one quick example.
Well, and that's kind of like the whole thought behind all of it is we want Spousely to be a true one-stop shop for people to find, products and different services. So instead of, going to a million different groups and posting and, asking around and you're right, doing the extra legwork of trying to figure out who's going to be a good person that would, benefit what you're envisioning or, you want to shop or you want to support another company. So at the end of the day, you can go on Spousely and you can find, awesome products, different services, and you can search by zip code and state as well. So I think that's pretty awesome. So, say for example, you just relocated to a new state and you're looking for a new family photographer because us moms, we know we
Yeah,
love
great
our
example.
photography.
Right.
Um, so you'll be able to go on Spousely and search by either state or zip code, and you'll be able to find other mill spouse or vet owned businesses that you can support. So it's pretty exciting. So just
Yeah.
to make one stop shop,
Right.
obviously we're gonna continue to add new vendors daily. So I encourage everybody to continue checking back and look for what they're really looking for. But hopefully over the next year we can really have a huge variety of all different products and services.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a lot. I know
It is a lot.
launch was last week, and I'm
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
it's always a little
couple weeks
crazy when
now.
you're pulling something new and bringing it to market. So hopefully this
Yeah.
week hasn't been too crazy for you.
No, we're so excited. We've been so overwhelmed with all of the support within the Milvet community alone. And now that we are open to the public for, civilians to be able to shop and support these companies, it's been just growing like crazy and spreading like wildfires. So we're really excited.
I bet. So talk a little bit about kind of the evolution. You mentioned a little bit in terms of just your background and so forth, but
Yeah.
for you, was it to, I see this need and I want to create a space for military spouses? Was it that you had that entrepreneur hat on anyway and you kind of sort of backed into this as an idea? So how, like, what was the evolution for you kind of beginning to end for that?
So I've been working. I'm not no longer with the company just because I decided to focus on my own company. But for the past 6.5 years, I've been in corporate world where I was meeting with Fortune 500, companies, different CEOs and business owners, and I was always just intrigued by their stories. You would just learn like how they grew something so small to something so big. But at the end of the day, a lot of them, their mission was to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I kind of got tired of being in that position where I was coming in and listening to their stories. I was like, I want the tables to be turned and I want somebody to listen to my story one day where I can truly help other people because I've always had a great way of bringing everybody together. You can ask all, my friends and family and coworkers, everybody is always knows me as just the social butterfly, just kind of
The
being
connector.
able to make everybody feel comfortable. So I hope that everybody can kind of see that with Spousely. That's why I wanted to keep it really fun and creative and just a really, enjoyable space where we can truly support one another. And obviously, you can tell what my favorite color is, and that's the seafoam green color. That's the Spousely logo, and I wanted to put that in there because I thought it was so important just to show people a little piece of me that this
Sure.
is a real this is a dream. This is a mill spouse's dream, and just everybody supporting it and us all being able to grow together, I think is amazing because we have the big companies out there that kind of provide similar platforms, but at the end of the day, people like to be a part of something that they believe in because of the founder. And so I want everybody just to see that there's a real person behind this company. And I am working so hard to make sure that we listen to our vendors, we listen to our customers. And that's part of the reason why we did open the doors to the public to be
Mm-hmm.
able to shop on Spousely and support the mill vet community is because our vendors were saying how they would love that to be open and we listened and that's what happened. So
Right. Yeah, no, I
it's
mean
I feel like we're all in it together.
yeah, no, being able to be agile, I think is key. And really
Yeah,
listening to your audience and figuring out what works for them, um,
right.
definitely is
Like
important.
everybody has a voice and I want everybody to be able to be a part of this, especially from the start. I feel like we are all are truly growing together, and whether you're already an established business or you're just starting out, I feel like Spousely is such a great platform no matter where you're at in your business timeline because it allows all of us to just, like I said, grow together.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. So let's kind of shift a little bit. I want to come back at the end. We'll talk a little bit about how people can connect with you if they want to be a vendor, they want to shop or whatever.
Right.
But let's just talk a little bit about kind of just the mill spouse piece. Because one of the things we try to do with our spotlights is really just give people a perspective on, if they have a dream or they have this passion project or
Yeah.
they have something that they really want to to grow into something. What advice would you give them if someone had an idea like, maybe not like this one, but just an idea in general that they think they
Yeah.
could really put their heart and soul into? What are some of the things you've learned along the way that you think would serve someone in that same position?
Yeah, like I said before, I mean, we all know that the struggle is real being a military spouse. It's, we're so talented. We have so many different ideas, but at the end of the day, if we are a spouse, we are, trying to kind of put all the different puzzle pieces in place for our own careers. And I feel like, the world right now is so amazing with everything being so remote and different companies picking up on how, military spouses can work remote and provide value to the table as well. I think that's huge because I would say, rewind maybe like 8 to 10 years ago, a lot of
Oh,
companies just they weren't remote and
no.
us spouses it really wasn't easy because if we have to move in a couple years, we don't want to start with a company and then have to leave, or that could possibly hurt us starting with the company. So I would say the military spouse life really encourages us all to be, an entrepreneur in some way. It doesn't have to be a physical product or a
Sure.
service, even if you're helping other spouses, just being there, just talking to them and listening to ideas and really supporting one another. I feel like our community alone is such a great stepping stone. So in my eyes, I see it as we are on one stone. And if you want to get to the other, to the next stone, don't be afraid. You can accomplish anything. Obviously, there's always going to be struggles and different hurdles that we have to overcome, but having one another there to be able to support each other, I think, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Even if even if you don't want to make a product, or you're thinking about starting like a coaching business, or
Right.
writing resumes, or anything that you can
That
do
you're
to
good
help
at.
somebody else out, whatever your passion is, I would
Yeah.
just say follow your dreams, because it's not going to be easy, but at the end of it, it's going to be so rewarding.
Yeah. No, one of the things I've said a couple of times on, in various forms on Pride and Grit is just the fact that I think there sometimes military spouses will get to a point where they feel like they have to sort of choose
Yeah,
between doing the thing they love or investing in this
right,
passion that they have or supporting their service member.
right,
And I think what we're seeing in kind of the current evolution is that that might have been the case, a decade or two ago. And I think
right.
now we're in a place where there really is the space to do
Yeah,
both, because the entrepreneurial piece allows so much
yeah,
flexibility that you can still be the primary at home if you might need to because your service member is gone.
right.
So I think it's really changing the face of what military spouse life looks like,
Yeah,
versus, when I came in, a long time ago.
yeah,
I was joking with somebody yesterday that when I was a brand new kind of mill spouse, and
yeah,
not even when we were dating, I had a job that, wasn't remote at the time. I traveled full time. And then as
yeah,
soon as we had our first child, I was able to transition that into a remote job. And it was like this unicorn, right? It wasn't a thing that really existed in the space. And it was really during a time when societally the narrative was, all these companies are going remote and that's never going to work. Like
right.
people aren't going to be productive and they're not going to be accountable. And so we've come just a complete 180 to where
Yeah,
it's really seen as, for a lot of companies, a preferred way to do it because it's more advantageous for them in terms of their overhead and their investment.
right.
And for mill spouses it's perfect because now
Oh,
you're
yeah,
just the opportunities are endless if you want to put your foot in that door. And if you
right.
don't, like, that's cool, there's still lots of space to not do it.
Yeah,
But I think the barriers feel a little lower every day.
yeah.
Which is
I
good,
think
like
it's easier. It's like those stepping stones I was talking about. They're getting closer and
closer
closer.
together, yeah.
They're not far apart anymore. It's not a scary leap. So
I know.
yeah, and that's
Yeah, I
something.
love that visual. It's so true.
Yeah, like I'm gonna hop to this one.
Right? Yeah.
I
No.
wanted to say too, and on Spousely, we're going to continue to partner with different companies that will be able to provide different resources to help out, the mill vet community. So whether that's, looking for different jobs, we're going to partner with companies that specifically focus on hiring mill spouses or veterans, or, just kind of having that outlet on, our platform as well, I think is going to be huge. And that's why we're kind of calling it a community.
Right.
Spousely is really going to turn into a community. Outside of the platform, we have, a blog. We're also going to have featured families every month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way for us all to continue, sharing our stories and being
Mm-hmm.
able to help each other out. So I
Yeah.
think
No.
it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm a big fan of the stories because I think we can
Yeah,
all find a little something in the path
right.
someone else has walked. It may not be our path, but we may be able to glean this one or two things that really help us, gain focus with whatever it is we're trying to do as well.
And
Um,
they're all real stories. They're all
yeah.
stories that are, they're within reach. It's not
Right.
like watching something on TV and this person overnight. It's just it's real. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's so awesome about our community. And that's why I know so many people want to support mill vet owned businesses, because they, want to provide their share of support as well.
Sure. No. From what you've seen, I'm just curious, thinking about military spouses and what your observations have been with
Yeah.
kind of where people are right now and the biggest struggles right now. What would you say those are when you look at your peers?
Yeah. So you mean like in general, like
Yeah,
outside
just
of
in
the
terms of military
or
life and, what is the thing that's sort of, besides the things we know
yeah,
like PCS and, like,
right.
but more
I would say that
fundamentally, where do you feel like people are right now and what do they need?
I feel like the biggest struggle is meeting new friends along the way that you have to leave. Obviously, you're going to have friends all over, which is exciting. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, in the military life, your friends become your family. And most of us don't have family that's living nearby. So it's just, they're always there no matter what. A perfect example, the other day I ran out of Tylenol for my son, and my husband wasn't home. I had a sick child. I have twins, so I had one sick child in bed and the other one that I was just like, I'm not going to drag them both, to the
Right.
store to get it. So one of my amazing friends, that's also a mill spouse, was able to go to the store and pick up Tylenol for me. And I think that that's something, that really touches home with all of us. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just having that support. And I think at the end of the day, I would say the people, I think that's the biggest struggle, is just building those relationships and then having to start over again. But what's so amazing from what I've learned in my experience, you can have to move, or you can, have friends that leave, but the next day you have new friends that become family again. So it's almost like, I don't even know, it's like the rubber band effect. Like they snap away and you're so sad, but then, the next day a new family comes in, and
Mm-hmm.
that person you become so close with. And so I feel like as much as it's a struggle, it's a circle. We're all
Yeah,
very,
no, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you're so right. You never really know when that one person is going to come through, that really you connect with. I mean, you can connect
right,
with all kinds of people, but we all have those handful of people that have just sort of, transformed friendship for us. And you never know when person could be at your next duty station. Like you really don't
yeah,
ever know when that's going to happen. And so it's just
right.
being open to that is, especially when you've been around a long time, is harder
Yeah,
and harder each
I
time,
can
but
imagine.
it's
Yeah,
important. Yeah, it's important.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit, if people wanted to, if they want to shop on Spousely, they want to write for your blog, if they want to, anything they want to do to contact you, what's the best way?
Yes, so if you go to www.spousely.com, you'll be prompted on the home screen to either sign up as a vendor or a customer. So if you are, in the Millvet community, you can sign up to sell on Spousely. And then there's two tiers on the product side that you can pick from. And then on the service side, it operates more of a like monthly subscription. So it kind of explains a little bit of everything in more detail. And obviously, if anybody has questions, they can email us at support@spousely.com. And then if they are a customer, they can go back to the website, sign up as a customer. They will have to register. That will include, their name and creating a username and
Sure.
password. And then once their membership is approved, they'll be able to access the site. And
Okay.
the membership for customers is free. It's just a way for us to be able to connect, with both of our vendors
Yep.
and our customers.
No,
So
absolutely makes sense. I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
standard data these days, right?
yeah, we got to know who's
I know.
coming
No.
on as well.
Yep. No, that's awesome.
But
Well,
yeah, so it's a pretty easy process. So
okay. Yeah, no, we're excited to see kind of where you take things, and P&G is on there, so we're excited to have Pride and Grit on there as well. So folks
yeah,
can find us there as well. So I appreciate you being here today, and excited for you.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward to watching both of us grow. I think it's awesome.
Fantastic. Thanks. Thank you, Monica. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
Bye bye.